This video is sponsored by Juno. They paid for this video. They did not pay for my opinions. Those are still 100% mine. The year, 2025. The place, Salt Lake City. I was at the NAEA Tax Summit, sitting in a continuing education session, half paying attention like most of us do. And there was something I couldn't get out of my head. In the exhibition hall, this new company had just made its debut, Juno. And I kept thinking about it. You know that feeling when something just won't leave you alone? You're trying to focus on something else, but your brain keeps circling back? That was me. Eventually, I just got up, walked out of the session, went straight back to the exhibition hall, and I made a decision. Juno was going into my tech stack. Now, here's the thing. That decision wasn't hype. It wasn't impulse. It wasn't AI is the future excitement. When I first saw it, I was pretty skeptical. What's this actually doing? Is this real? Is this just marketing? Is this just another tool trying to replace accountants? So instead of trusting the demo, I tested it. I tested it a lot, like a lot. And after months of using it in real workflow, I have a much clearer picture of what it is, what it isn't, and where it fits. That's what this video is about. Everyone's been asking me, what actually is Juno? Well, Juno's not tax software. It doesn't replace your tax software. It doesn't replace whatever you're using. It sits alongside your tax software. Think of it as a layer between your client documents and the tax return. You upload your source documents, W-2s, 1099s, brokerage statements, spreadsheets, even scans of spreadsheets, and it ports the data directly into the tax return. Then, after the return's done, you can upload the completed PDF back into Juno, and it reviews it against the source documents and prior year returns. There's an additional component called Advisor. This is the part that most people underestimate. Advisor isn't just a good old-fashioned AI chatbot. It reads the actual client documents and returns context. That's a big difference. But before we get into that, let me tell you where this fits in real life. Where it fits into your workflow is where most people misunderstand Juno. It's not plug-and-play magic. If you don't design your workflow properly, you're probably not going to like this. Here's how I use it. I just hired an assistant. She has zero tax background. None. She's smart, she learns fast, but she's not a preparer. Instead of teaching her how to manually input every form into tax software, I gave her a very specific workflow. When documents come in, she stages them. She makes sure they're named correctly. She converts images to PDFs. She removes anything that doesn't belong. Then she uploads the documents into Juno. She validates the data and exports it into the tax software. By the time the return gets to me, it's often 70 to 90% complete. That changes everything. I'm no longer sitting here typing box numbers from W-2s. I'm reviewing, and that's a completely different job. Now let's talk about the accuracy in Juno. Here's what really got me. I once had a client submit a 3-page PDF. Page 1 was something normal. I don't even remember what. But pages 2 and 3 were 1099 NECs. And guess what? I missed them. Juno didn't. It flagged that there were multiple forms embedded into the same document. That's what I mean when I talk about data purity. You're building into your workflow the opportunity to never miss a document. There was a moment when it summarized long-term and short-term capital gains correctly from a 1099-B, but then only pushed one category into the software. It's not catastrophic because the validation screen shows you everything that it pulled. You're not hunting through 50 pages of brokerage statements trying to find one number, but you do have to review. This doesn't eliminate review. What it eliminates is low-value mechanical input. Now, after I finish a return, I upload the final PDF back into Juno. It compares year over year, it analyzes changes, it flags discrepancies. Is it sometimes a lot of information? Yeah. Does it occasionally feel like tax software diagnostics that tell you obvious things? A little, but it's improving rapidly. And here's the difference. It's practical. It's built by people who actually understand tax systems and workflows. The co-founder ran his own firm. That matters a lot because nuance matters in this profession. Now, Advisor is where it gets interesting. Let me give you a real scenario. I had a discovery call with a new client. They sold an S-Corp in an asset sale. There were hundreds of pages of contracts and agreements. Instead of reading 300 pages cold, I uploaded everything into Juno and said, give me the landscape. What am I looking at? It summarized the structure. It pointed out allocation components. It highlighted issues I wasn't even initially thinking about. That didn't replace my judgment, but it did accelerate my understanding. You can even say, build me a client presentation explaining this return, and it will generate a PowerPoint presentation ready to present to your client. You still refine it, But as a starting point, it's very powerful. The difference is context. Most AI tools only know what you type. Advisor knows the client's entire tax situation based on all the documents you've uploaded. This changes the quality of output dramatically. Now, who is this actually for? If you're doing 40 tax returns on the side, this might not make sense for you. But if you're processing volume, you have staff, and you struggle with consistency, or you want to elevate your role, now we're talking. I spoke with a firm that has 10 seasonal preparers. Consistency across 10 preparers, that's a headache. Juno standardizes entry. Now everyone is reviewing the same output structure instead of each preparer inventing their own style. You can't scale knowledge without systems. This is the system. If you want admins to assist with prep without having deep tax knowledge, this bridges that gap. If you want to move from data entry to higher level thinking, this supports that shift. Now let's talk friction points. You will need workflow discipline. You can't just dump messy files into it and expect perfection. Large brokerage statements can still get a bit messy. Some forms may not yet be supported. The UI isn't perfect, but the core accuracy of forms, very strong. And right now, they're moving fast. That was part of my decision. I didn't want to wait until everyone else figured it out. I wanted to build my workflow now, so that way when this becomes normal, I'm already operating at a high level. Now, here's why I ultimately committed. When I ran back to that exhibition hall in Salt Lake City, it wasn't because I thought AI would replace accountants. It was because I saw where things were going. The firms that win in the next 5 years are not going to be the firms that type the fastest. They're going to be the firms that design systems, that prioritize clean data, that use technology to elevate their role, not shrink it. If you care about workflow, consistency, data integrity, and leverage, it's worth serious consideration. That's my honest take. Not hype, not fear, just what I've experienced.